The Pokemon World Championships are just around the corner, and if you're like me, you'll want to catch every moment of the action. This week I caught up with the absolute best to learn a little bit more about the different competitions that are going on throughout the event. Today we're going to be talking to Doobsnax all about Pokemon Unite. I was looking forward to learning more about Unite, and safe to say Doobsnax got me very excited for it. Seriously, the guy's such an incredible ambassador for the game. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. But anyways, let's get down to business. So today I have Doobsnax with me. Doobsnax, welcome. For those who don't know you, how about you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you're involved in Pokemon Unite?
Yeah, absolutely. Kirk Doobsnax Bay. If you've watched any of the Pokemon Unite Championship series, regional finals, monthly finals, AOS Cup, you've seen me on there as a play-by-play caster. I also started the Unite Mike's YouTube channel with my PAC, partner in casting, that's Zoinks, where he's color caster, I'm play-by-play, and we try and cover a bunch of events. But lately, what we've been focusing on is doing team interviews and individual interviews of people and content creators in the community to kind of shed some light that the Pokemon Unite community is a bit more expansive than maybe people might know on the surface.
Great, that's good to hear. So before we get into the detail, I just want to ask you a little something. And this might seem really obvious, and your background might give off a little bit of a hint here. Have you been to a Pokemon event before?
I have been to numerous Pokemon events before. 2018, I got my Worlds invite playing the TCG. 2019, I stayed pretty close to the game. I actually went to Worlds in 2019 as well,
Very
just as a
nice.
spectator. And of course, being able to go to the first live Pokemon Unite event with all the best teams in the world is a dream come true for sure.
Oh, that sounds absolutely fantastic. And it does sound like we definitely have an expert on our hands today. Now, for those who may have heard there's something going on in London in a few days' time, what is Worlds exactly?
Yeah, so Pokemon Worlds is the best players in 5 games through whatever qualification system they have. So for TCG and VGC, it's championship points, which you accrue through finishes. Not too sure about Pokken or Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Unite has kind of like these big qualifying tournaments by region. So North America had one, EU, APAC, OCE, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Central America, South America, and I'm India, and I'm sure I flubbed one in there somewhere. But the top one or two teams out of each of those regions, kind of at the big regional final event, get to punch their ticket to Worlds and show up and represent their region on the stage with the 16 best teams in the world.
So that sounds like a lot of good things. A lot of knowledge there. I'm sure I would have completely forgot half of those regions, so well done on that one. But big question, obviously, I'm British. So have you been to England before?
I have. I'm actually very, very fortunate that a couple years ago, went to the UK, spent time in England, got to see the World Rugby Sevens,
Oh, nice.
along with actually some TCG friends that I've made back in 2018, 2019. They had me in town and actually put my wife and I up for a couple days so we could go to that event. It was amazing. So yes, I've been there. Long story short, great time, and just showing that friendships through the Pokemon community last a long time and reach across the world. And as long as you stay true to the friends and keep that relationship up, you always have a place to stay when you travel abroad.
That sounds absolutely lovely. So, I've heard this year you might have a particular role, and you kind of spoke about it in the intro, but how about you tell us a little bit about your role in Worlds this year?
Absolutely. So I am elated to announce or say or whatever that I will be the play-by-play caster for Pokemon Unite, one of 5. So it's myself, Spraggles, Jeff Hoagland, Zoinks, and JJ Kuhn, who is representing the APAC region down the Philippines. So I get to do play-by-play. I get to kind of go crazy, run everybody through the team fights. And yeah, just give as much insight and as possible, have as much fun with it as I can.
Nice. So, one of the best things about Worlds is it covers various aspects of Pokemon. So, you've got
Mhm.
VGC, TCG, Unite, Go, Pokken, which means there's going to be actually a wide range of people. Some people might know one aspect, some people might know all of the aspects. But if
Mhm.
someone wanted to watch Unite, maybe for the first time, could you sum up the basic idea of a Unite match in a few sentences?
Sure, I'll do my best. The 2 teams of 5. Ultimately, you want to pick up energy by defeating wild Pokemon and your enemies, and score that energy into the goal zones. At the end of the game, the teams with the team with the most points wins. But of course, there's different metrics that you can get there. Some teams like to fight the whole time, right, and keep you from scoring by always keeping you off the map. Other teams like to subvert fighting and score as much as they can. So at the end, it doesn't matter how much you do or how many objectives you win, you still fall behind the scoreboard. So there's different strategies within that, but ultimately, the team with the most points wins.
That sounded so easy to follow. I hope some people will find that really, really helpful. I'm sure it goes a little bit more in depth than that. But for now, that's a really good introduction. So now we know how the basics of the game works. But of course, most of us are going to be paying attention to the Pokemon being used. And as always with these kind of games, there's always a little bit of a tier list going on. So what are currently the top tier mons that everyone should be paying attention to?
The two off the top of my head would definitely be Blissey and Hoopa, who are two support characters. Blissey, with its Unite move, it's probably the strongest character in the game. It's able to completely shield what we call your hyper carry character, the Pokemon that can engage with the other team, deal massive amounts of damage. So it's literally like a protect the president type thing. The Blissey rolls in, helps them soak up a bunch of damage, tosses them soft-boiled eggs to heal them up, has its little egg bomb to stun as well to keep the opponents from being able to attack this hyper carry. So that's one. And then the other one would be Hoopa, another support character, and its hyperspace hole can kind of teleport players all across the map, which means you can get to objectives faster. You can do other things on the map and then kind of bring everybody through with the Rings Unbound, Hoopa's Unite move, which kind of does like an Avenger styles portal, and then all your rest of your players can roll through from wherever they are on the map. So those are two very crucial utility Pokemon that I expect to see a lot of teams have in their compositions. How they build around it, I think, is really going to be the difference maker here.
Nice. And you said a few things there that I really want to kind of pick up on a little bit, but the next question will help with that a little bit. So one thing that's actually quite unique about Unite in comparison to, say, the other games is that it is very much a team game. And we spoke about team comps, we're speaking about the hyper carry there. What's currently working right now? Say, what is the good example of a good team comp right now? Maybe throw some Pokemon in there that will be, what are the good hyper carry Pokemon, for example?
Ooh, sure. Okay, so let's go with just the things that we're most used to. So you have like Serena or Lucario, which is kind of a top path Pokemon, right? Rolling at the top of the map. Central area seems to go to a bunch of different directions. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of Dragonite because that is a big hyper beam attack that can deal a ton of damage to help secure objectives, which are Dreadnought, Rotom, and Zapdos. And then, around that, you might have, an extra Slowbro, a big defender that has tons of HP, or a Trevenant that can push with its Horn Leech, push the other team around on the map and buy space for, again, your hyper carries who typically have less HP. Which is why they need that Blissey and everything to go in there, but they deal such massive amounts of damage that you kind of build to support them with the different characters. So it's kind of hard to peg down 5 because every single region is coming to different conclusions right now. Which is what's going to make Worlds so exciting because it's going to be, a bunch of different schools of thought clashing together to kind of reign supreme to see who has the biggest brain.
That sounds really good, actually. I think, sometimes with games like this, you do have the kind of meta games and kind of you see the top 10 Pokemon, for example. But it sounds like from what you're saying, it seems like there's a chance that every single Pokemon could be included and involved in the game. Would you say that's correct?
I'd say that's fairly accurate, of course. There's some that are kind of so low on the tier list because there's just other Pokemon that do what they try and do a little bit better. We won't be seeing, Glaceon, Icicle Spear, I think was banned. Buzzwole is banned, and Tyranitar will come out, will be banned as well. But like, just for the sake of argument, how widespread these strategies are, I mentioned Hoopa as one of the most important characters, and there's 2 different regions whose winning team to qualify for Worlds didn't even play Hoopa in their composition. So they elected to go a different route, and were still able to make that work in the face of what a lot of people conventional wisdom would say. Hoop is one of the strongest things going.
So that sounds really good. I'm already really excited to watch Unite at Worlds now. But we've spoke about the teams in the game, the team comp. Now let's actually look at the actual teams themselves. Who are the top players? Who should we be looking out for? Who are like the top teams? Let's go from there. Who are going to be the strongest contenders?
Okay, so if I'm going to try and just touch on as many regions as I can real quick. North America, Black Hand, they're the regional winners. Overlord is their top path player, an absolute mutant on Aos Island. Definitely one of the strongest individual players, and their carry, their central area player, Jungle Book. They brought them back. Were missing most of the season. They brought them back, and those two are one of the best 1-2 punches, if I can quote Indie Bear, Pokemon Unite kind of staple. They're one of the best 2-1-2 punches in the world. You go, to South America, you have Z's, which is a Brazilian team that never dropped an event, and they have Baby
Okay.
Mazo, who's another content creator, an absolute just amazing player. Then you can go to like iClan, who as individuals, they're kind of like greater than the sum of their parts when they come together. They're a team that won in 2017, won an event to go to internationals in Dota. They needed to win the event to go to internationals. They did. 2018, they did the same thing. 4 years later, they had stopped playing video games. They were at a barbecue, and one of them says, "Hey, Pokemon Unite's pretty cool.
Oh.
Would you guys want to play?" They started playing. Worlds was announced. They're like, "Well, OCE gets one spot. You want to try and run it back?" They started playing for a couple months, and of course, they won that tournament. And they're the only team with all 5 players that have in-person international stage experience. You can jump to Japan. You have Mame on T2, who's one of the best players in the world. No Lucario, Renaissance out of APAC, amazing players there. Of course, you have Nouns Esports, which is considered kind of the team front runner out of the entire world. They always seem to be setting the meta, and always, they set the meta, and as people catch up, they have the next strategy to break the meta that they just established, right? And you have Gatlu, who's got to be a shining star on that squad. I mean, there's so many amazing players that are going to be at this event, and no team is without their all-star for sure.
That sounds really good. And as we said before about kind of the Pokemon, it seems like every team has someone to really cheer for, to really look forward to. So it sounds there's no kind of like one big team that we expect to win. It could be anyone's game from what it sounds like.
That's where my thought is right now. The greatest thing, and what we're going to discover at Worlds, is all of these teams we know are good. You can watch their games back and say, like, I don't agree with what they did here. I do agree, whatever. But no team has played each other in a stage where ping didn't matter. This is going to happen at Worlds. So you can say, hey, we played, this South American team, and we're Japan, and we beat up on them, but whose server were you on, right? That makes a huge difference in this game. In a 10-minute game, lagging by milliseconds over and over and over again, accrues to like a large percentage of the game over time. So it's difficult to say. There's of course some pace cars will say, like Nouns Esports out of the EU defending their home turf. But I think everybody has a legit shot and everybody's on the chase.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting time to be watching Unite at the moment.
Oh yeah.
So on the flip side to that, when we all love it when this happens, are there any wildcards to keep an eye out for? Maybe it's a particular player or just a Pokemon itself. Are there any kind of wildcards that might see some play but might not?
I don't know. So let's take one. Alola Ninetales hasn't been played heavily except for in one region, India, and that was on Crowley. And Crowley is the anchor of their team who won the event and will be going. That's Revenant Esports. Mr. Crowley is one of the best Dota 2 players from India, period. Like historically, you can go on their Liquipedia page, look them up. Dota 2, Crowley, they're in there, and they have a lot of first place finishes in all their regional events. They have tons of international experience as well, and they looked very, very good on the Alolan Ninetales. So much so that, from what I understand, the rumblings through the woods a little bit is other teams are starting to use Alolan Ninetales, and it's breaking preconceived notions. We'll say that. So Alolan Ninetales might be something to look out for. Mr. Crowley is definitely a player to look out for out of India's region as well.
Oh, that sounds really, really good. I'm sure everyone now will be eyeing up Alolan Ninetales. As soon as we see it, we'll all be going wild because of this. So, looking at the schedule for the event, there's plenty more going on outside of just competitive play. Is there anything happening for Unite in particular?
Outside of competitive play, I think it's kind of locked into those 2 days, but I'm going to take this moment to shamelessly plug the World's Poker Party on Saturday night if you are in London. So that's Saturday, August 20th, at the Fox at Excel. every group from every Pokemon is invited. I know a ton of Unite players are going, a ton of Unite spectators. TCG, because I have my roots there, right? That trickles through VGC, and it's something we did in 2018, and it was a blast. 2019 in Washington D.C. was a blast. So we're trying to bring it back for this event. So I will say, outside of competing, that is going to be the place to be if you're in London on Saturday night.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll be sure to invite lots of people to that, so we should have a really, really good time.
That's what I hope.
Let's round it up. If there was one piece of advice you could give to someone coming to Worlds, whether that be a spectator or a competitor, and it can be practical, it can be absolutely anything, what would it be?
I'm going to cheat and I'm going to say 2. Number 1, get to the Pokemon Center early. The World's Pokemon Center has tons of like exclusive merchandise. So if you're looking to really get a good souvenir from that event, get to the Pokemon Center as soon as you can. That's number 1. Number 2, show up to the World's Poke Party at the Fox at Excel.
I like it. I like it. I've heard that there's going to be a ticketing system for the Pokemon Center. I don't know when that's coming out yet, but hopefully it shall pay off so people can at least get some merch at some point. Yeah. But, of course, this isn't just about Worlds, this isn't about anything. It's all about you as a little bit as well. So how can people find out more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow me on Twitter at Doobsnax, Doobsnax. If you are into Pokemon Unite content or just kind of want to see what the competitive scene is all about, check out Unite Mics on YouTube, UNITEMICS. And of course, you can follow Unite Mics on Twitter, Unite Mics at Unite Mics.
Yep, and all of those links will be in the description. So if you want to click down there right now, now's the chance. But Doobsnax, thank you so much. I've said it throughout this interview. I am super excited for Unite right now. So I hope that's coming across for everyone else and everyone is hyped, ready to hear you shout play-by-play and just ready for a good time at Unite.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait for Worlds, and Pokemon Unite is definitely going to show out for sure.
So that's all we have for today. I'm definitely going to be watching a lot more Unite at Worlds thanks to this interview. But before we go, if you could just fill out the poll in the description. Did this video make you want to watch Unite more? I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And more importantly, make sure you do check out Doobsnax. His links are in the description. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you soon.